Hey guys, it's Paul Gold from PlanetTennis.net and Tennis Tribe magazine. And over the next few minutes, I want to talk to you about the drop shot. I don't want to talk to you about how you should play the drop shot. Most people are going to tell you how to play it, but I want to tell you, more importantly, why you should be playing the drop shot. So first of all, I want you to consider for a minute the two laws of playing winning tennis. And they are: one, get the ball in play, and two, always be ready for the next ball to come back. So let me rephrase those laws. Far too many players tend to lose because of errors or from failing to get ready for the next shot. So let's go forward a bit, and let's assume that you were actually able to reduce the errors you were making, and also you actually were more prepared and better prepared for any balls that were coming back. Now, assuming you were playing players that have also done a similar job to their game, when we look at winning, that then becomes down to a matter of strategy and successfully employing tactics. It all becomes about creating and hitting into space and using angles and changing the whole dynamics of things like depth and speed and spin and height, etc. So with that being said, here are two factors you may not have considered that may actually now prompt you to working on adding the drop shot to your tennis toolkit. Now I want you to think about it. Have you noticed how much Djokovic, Murray, Federer and Nadal now all play the drop shot on a much more regular basis than they used to? Okay, so let's get into it. Now, factor one are tennis court dimensions. Now, if we look at the singles court, it's 27 feet wide and it's 78 feet deep end to end. Now, if you just run your opponent from the center out to, say, one of the single sidelines, then we're looking at about 13.5 feet. If I was to actually hit two shots and hit them corner to corner, so they run from one side then to the other, then we're looking at 27 feet roughly. If I was to run my opponent from the baseline to the net with, let's just say, an average drop shot, then we're looking at about 30 foot. If I was to run my opponent from way behind the baseline all the way up to the net with a good drop shot, then we're looking in excess of 35 feet plus. So can you see how the actual geometry of the court and the distances involved actually begin to work in your favor? But let's just add one more thing onto that. And factor two is all about what players normally do in their practice. Because most players tend to practice their ground strokes. They overlook things like approach shots and volleys and overheads, and even if they do work on their net game, they normally work on it in isolation. You know, they stand at the net, take some volleys. They don't involve the movement to the ball. Big mistake, and it's something you should be looking to exploit. So, if your tactics, think about it, are to move your opponents from side to side, isn't this just something that they probably do a lot anyway when they're practicing? So what if you changed your tactics to now include going from deep to short and not just sticking side to side? Would you not be getting your opponent into somewhat of an uncharted area of the court, something they haven't been practicing a lot? Well, I think you would. So if your opponent prefers or is used to operating side to side at the baseline, doesn't it now make sense to think about moving them forward from time to time? I witnessed Andy Murray firsthand win countless junior matches using this tactic as a kid, and more importantly, this can work wonders for you if you're like me and in the age category of what we call veterans or seniors. I've used it and I've seen it cause havoc in matches in these age categories, so you've got to start using it to win more of your share of the matches you play. Now some people say, yeah, but what about if the opponent covers the drop shot? Simple. All you need to do is then throw up a lob and let them start chasing that down. Think about the physical impact of them having to do this several times will have. This can work wonders for your win-loss ratio, so I really want you to start thinking about integrating it into your game today. In terms of execution of the drop shot, I'm going to cover that in another video, so look out for it, and I'll speak to you soon.